Y'all, before we even get into it, this ain't just a podcast. This us talking to the block, to the moms, to the homies lost, to the ones fighting demons in silence, to the kings and queens that forgot their crown. We four brothers coming straight from mud, hitting the web not for clout but for purse bills. We the night brothers, speaking truth to the mic, shining through the struggle, bringing dark to the light. Block to your soul, let the message ignite. Podcast for the people, every word take flight. Gritty like the grind, hell first we strive. Social heat in the streets, trying to keep hope alive. 4 mics, 1 mission, make the people revive. It's the night time, tune in, feel the vibe. We 4 deep like corners on the block, mics hot in the lab, cooking truth non-stop, no gimmicks. This ain't clickbait chatter, this heartbeat, struggle is soul, blacker than batter. Got fam trying to heal, broke bills on the table. Talk health, mental wealth, if we able, we enable. From the hood to the web, we built this escape. Tired of seeing kings trapped in a lowercase fake. Click clack on the keys, we ain't just pie, we preach it. Street slang, health hacks, real talk preaching. See the system rigged, trying to cage our minds, but we cracking the code like it's Columbine. I'm the brother with the blueprint, knowledge in my stash. Turn trauma to armor, pain into cash. 1 mic, 4 voices, no filters, no mask. We ain't just streaming, we building that path. We the night brothers, speaking truth to the mic, shining through the struggle, bringing dark to the light. Block to your soul, let the message ignite. Podcast for the people, every word take flight. Gritty like the grind, health first we strive. Social heat in the streets, trying to keep hope alive. 4 mics, 1 mission, make the people revive. It's the nighttime, tune in, feel the vibe.
Oh yeah, 4 mics, 1 mission. Nighttime, nighttime.
I seen young blood.
Good evening,
Yes,
good
sir.
evening, everybody. Welcome to the Night Brothers Show. How you doing, Arden? How you doing, little brother?
Excellent, excellent, excellent. I want to welcome Mimi Lee in the place to be. Margaret Nick, you always slick. And you know what we do, huh? Cheryl Queen in the building. And it ain't right, and it ain't real, and it ain't straight till we get to Pre in the place to be. What's up, Pam?
Welcome,
Peace and
Mimi
love.
Williams. Yeah.
You know what we
Mimi
do?
Lee, how are you
Got the show.
doing, Mimi? All right, well, welcome everybody to the show. You know, this is the Night Brothers Show, and you know, we always say this is the show where your opinion matters. So we welcome your comments and your questions as we go through tonight with our special guest. And boy, do we have a special guest with for you tonight. We're going to break that down in a minute. But I just wanted to thank everybody once again for joining us. We're so grateful that you guys are loyal to us each and every week, and that you continue to follow Night Brothers Show. We're going to ask you to like, share, and subscribe to our channel as we move forward. And with all that being said, let's get ready to rumble.
Rumble. I know you got a
Y'all liking that intro? I see they liking that intro, Q.
Yeah, they like that
fire,
powerful
fire,
intro. I like it too, Lanny.
The fire.
I like
Intro
it
is
too.
fire.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
fire.
indeed.
4 mics.
DC. Hit it with the vibes.
It's the vibe time.
just wanna
Definitely, we're
lay
gonna
in the
vibe
shade,
tonight.
getting
Lanny,
no
cue the
shade,
music
you know
for
what I
me,
mean?
brother.
And pontificate on life. We vibing under the city lights. Wherever the wind go take us. If it's good, we make it contagious. Said we vibing, laying on black sand beaches, thinking of what life teaches. So glad and fall from the deep end. Said we vibing under the city lights. Wherever the wind go take us. If it's good, we make it contagious. Said we vibing.
We certainly are vibing tonight, guys. Once again, welcome to the show. And our vibe tonight is we only have one real vibe tonight. Our vibe is a special interview with Dr. Mark Bedell, Superintendent of Arundel County Public Schools. And we're just so grateful to have him join us tonight for this interview as we break down his vision and achievements at Arundel County Public Schools. And Lanny, if you could bring the music down, now that'd be perfect.
Okay, cool. Dr. Mark Bedell began his 4-year term as superintendent for the Arundel County Public School Systems on July 1st, 2022, and assumed all his full duties leading Maryland's 4th largest school district on August 8th of the same year. After transitioning from superintendency at Kansas City Public Schools. In 2022, he led Kansas City Public Schools to full accreditation status for the first time in more than 20 years. Dr. Bedell has spent careers pursuing educational equity. Under his steady leadership, Kansas City Public Schools created an innovative equity policy to direct the school system's resources and programs to give every student the opportunity to reach their greatest potential. Dr. Bedell has received many recognitions, including being named the 2023 Joseph E. Hill Superintendent of the Year by the National Alliance of Black School Educators. In 2024, he was asked by Harvard University Graduate School of Education to speak to approximately 170 principals in the Summer Leadership Institute about Anne Arundel County Public Schools. Without further ado, he's built on relationships that will help every student move forward. So without further ado, we're going to check out this short video.
The Knight Brothers Show welcomes the Superintendent of AA County Public Schools, Dr. Mark Bedell. Tonight is not just another conversation. Dr. Bedell is a man who doesn't just talk change, he lives it. You want real leadership? He's out there in the schools, walking halls, showing up at games, congratulating graduates. This is not a suit and tie behind a desk kind of guy. He's in the mix. And when the system needs to be pushed, he's not afraid to push it. He's putting students first, listening to parents, backing teachers, asking the hard questions, even when it's uncomfortable. That's the kind of leadership we need, not just in education, but in every part of our community. So tonight, we're going there. We're talking vision, equity, trust, and what it really means to show up for our kids. Please welcome to the Knight Brothers Show, Superintendent Dr. Mark Bedell.
Welcome, Dr. Bedell. How you doing this night? How you doing this evening, brother?
Hey, fellas, I'm doing good. Man, that's a heck of an introduction. I really appreciate that. I've done a lot of podcasts, and this is a whole different vibe right now.
Oh, well, good, man.
Definitely want to give you your roses and your flowers right now,
Yes,
so
sir,
you can smell them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, listen.
Well,
Wow.
Well, Doc, we're gonna get right into it because we have a lot to cover tonight. But first of all, once again, I want to publicly thank you before our audience to thank you for so graciously taking the time to join us tonight. And we hope this is the first of several visits if things work out. Anyway, we thank you once again. And Lonnie, let's move right into our interview. So, because I know Dr. Bedell wants to come.
This is what I need to do before we move to the interview. I need at least 5 welcome Dr. Bedells before we move any further in this broadcast from the audience.
Sir.
Can I get a quick 5? I need a high 5, real high 5. Let's see if we
give him a high five.
Let's see if we. Margaret Nick always on time. All right, where to go, Margaret?
Live and direct.
Juanita Cage Lewis on time, all the time, baby. Thank you. I'm gonna count this as
on point. She stay on point.
Lisa Slade.
Lisa Slade. I'm gonna count that as 1. Cheryl the Queen. I'm gonna count that as 1.
One more.
Hey, hi, you know it. I'm gonna count that. And welcome right there from Mimi Lee. All right, fake gas, cause I ain't gonna leave you out. Okay, here we go, y'all. We're gonna check out this, and then we gonna talk.
Greetings. This is Superintendent Bedell with Thursday Thoughts. As you all can see, I am here at Annapolis High School with a group of young men that is a part of our mentoring program. 2 years ago, we made a budgetary decision to include a new position that would serve as a director over mentoring. That position is already beginning to pay dividends. There is a number of mentoring programs, which we call a portfolio mentoring model, where we're servicing students across this county in elementary, middle, and high school. This happens to be one of the programs that I am a part of, which is really more so a group mentoring type model. As you can see, it is important for me as a superintendent, someone who benefited off of mentoring, that we do our part as adults to become positive adult advocates for the children here in Anne Arundel County. We're looking for people who want to mentor. We're willing to pay for your background checks and to ensure that you go through training so that when you meet with these young students, they know that they have somebody that they can confide in. We're going to create a game-changing mentoring model in this school district that hopefully can be replicated across this country, and it starts with these students that we're working with. Our hope is that if we do a good enough job with them and their outcomes improve socially, emotionally, and academically, that these kids will go on to thrive and will become future mentors. So please feel free to join in becoming a mentor here in Anne Arundel County. This is Superintendent Bedell checking out with Thursday Thoughts.
Dr. Bedell, I gotta salute you for that move, man. That was a power move. And I want to say one other thing. I know this is not in, the show preamble and everything else, but I want to say, it's imperative to put the right people in the right position. And the brother you put in that position has walked that life for, long as I've known him. And he's actually a very good friend of mine. He's Dr. Well, not doctor, I call him a doctor, but Mr. Dillard. And he's a black belt out in our school, and he's one of the instructors and everything else. A really good quality person, man. And you need that in front of people that they can see in the community. He walks the walk. So I just wanted to salute you for one, having the foresight and the vision to do that. And secondly, a lot of times to get the right person in the right place is everything. And I just definitely want to salute you on that note. That was a real good poll. So like I said, it was a power move indeed. So thank you very much for that, because that's impacting a lot of people in our community for sure.
So Arden, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah.
All right, so there's two things that I want to respond to. The first one is on those Thursday Thoughts, that is completely unscripted. So I end up making mistakes from time to time, but you should have seen those students after I finished, and they were like, man, you just did that off the dome. I said, yeah, the reason why I do that is I want people to understand we don't have to always look at a script in order to say what we need to say, right? And that ultimately leads to a further conversation that I'm able to have with these young men about understanding how to pause, how to not utilize fillers when you speak, but that it takes time to kind of break out of the fear of having to be in a situation where you have to speak on the spot like that. And then as far as Andre is concerned, to your point, man, he's a stand-up guy. Listen, yes. I was interested in Andre being utilized as a director over schools, because I saw him moving in that trajectory. And what Andre said to me was, that's not where my heart is. I would rather stay in my school and be a principal, but that's not where my heart is. And then I said, hey man, I got this vision of wanting to bring a portfolio mentoring program to Anne Arundel County. And he said, now that's where my heart is. He took less money and he goes home every day pinching himself that he can't believe he's getting paid to do this, even though he could have had a higher paying job. That's a stand-up dude. That's a stand-up dude.
Quality person. And I just salute you, man, because, a good friend of ours, Ernesto Phillips, I'm going to call his name. He's an ancestor at this point. He always said, when we were managing production companies, he said, find people that want to do what you need done. And you won't have to follow them around and do it, because that's what they would do if they didn't get paid. And just to put somebody in that position that's so powerful and that's so key with the heart to do that is imperative indeed. Now I want to jump in there. Go ahead, Q. I know you got the first question, but I definitely wanted to salute you on that note, though. Definitely.
Yes, sir.
Well, but once again, Dr. Bedell, thank you. But we want the viewers to get the full view, and then we want our viewers to understand where you're coming from. So to help our viewers understand, could you talk a little bit about your journey, briefly about how you were raised and the dynamics of your family home life, and during your formative years from kindergarten through high school, what it was like for you? Because I know that you talked about you received mentoring. Yes.
Yeah, I had to have received mentoring. Otherwise, I would have dropped out of school. So I'm from Rochester, New York. I'm the oldest out of 8. My mom had me when she was 16. She dropped out of high school. My father, I think, was 19 at the time. I've never met that dude, so I don't know who my real father is. And I think what ended up happening is, you know, my mom was on drugs, my stepfather was on drugs. We struggled living. To be honest with you, like I dropped out of school in the 2nd grade because the teacher told me I was dumb, ugly, and would never amount to anything.
Wow.
And she knew she could get away with it because nobody was coming to advocate for me. And then at that point, that's where Child Protective Services came in and intervened. And we were all split up by the time I was 7. You know, we all lived with different people in the greater Rochester area. And probably from 7 to 14, my brother and I lived with an aunt and uncle who also had 8 kids in that house. So we talking about 12 people in a house with 1 bathroom. You know, but that got me back on track, right? And then by the time I was going into my 9th grade year, I guess Child Protective Services felt that my mom had cleaned up her act and my stepfather, and they moved us back in with them, and we got over there and conditions hadn't changed. They were still on drugs. I got a job as a custodian at the age of 15, and I got my first paycheck, and my mom was like, you gotta pay rent. And I was like, I'm not paying rent because I know what you're gonna do with the money. And then I got kicked out the house, so now I'm homeless. So I go from being a ward of the state to then being homeless in the 9th grade, sleeping with different people, and eventually I landed on the couch at my grandmother's studio, where pretty much halfway through my 9th grade year through graduating, I slept on the couch and with my grandmother, who couldn't control me. I had no guardrails, no curfews, no nothing. I did what I wanted to do, but it was good people who came into my life. Somebody taught me how to drive. My best friend parents did a lot to help me, you know, apply to college. I had another aunt and uncle that stepped up to help me. But I had a teacher in the 10th grade, and I share this with kids. I was skipping in the 10th grade, shooting dice. And I became ineligible to hoop. And I lost the love of my life in basketball, and I cried, and I asked the coach to get the teacher to change the grade, and he didn't. He said, I can't help you. And I think at that point, my homeroom teacher was like, you're academically talented and you don't even know it, and you're throwing it all away because you're mad at the world. And he told me I got to find somebody to talk to. So I came back and shared my story with him, made the honor roll, and didn't look any. After that, man, it was over. Once I got a taste of being called to the auditorium for something good, I liked that feeling, and I did not let it go.
Well, man, we certainly thank you for your transparency, man. I want you to know that story right there probably touched so many people in our audience and beyond. I'm sure it touches the students of Anne Arundel County to know that, as one of our audience just says, look at God. Look what he did. How he
That's Lisa DeHace.
Yeah, but man, thank you so much for sharing that. That was powerful, brother. That was powerful. Go on,
while we're on that, what inspired you to pursue a career in education? And it was a great story to kind of lead that in, because that may have been some of the seasoning. And how do you continue to fuel that inspiration now?
Yeah, when I went back to Mr. Barrett, that was my homeroom teacher who had told me I was throwing it all away. And I shared with him what I was going through. He and another government teacher, and these are 2 white teachers, man. They didn't live through the conditions I lived through, but their heart was in the right place. And they took me under their wings. And they basically told me, they said, "You're gonna teach." I was probably getting ready to head into my senior year. They said, "You're gonna be a teacher one day." I said, "Man, y'all crazy. I'm going to the NBA. I don't know what y'all talking about." Honestly, because I legitimately thought I was going to the NBA. And but they had planted that seed, and part of the motivation was, one day I want to teach. I read this book called Savage Inequalities by Jonathan Cazeau, and it talked about some of the worst school districts in the country and what kids had to face in those districts. And I said, one day I'm gonna go and work in one of those type of schools where kids, all of the odds are against them, and because of what I lived through, I'm gonna be able to help them. But also, it also motivated me that if I was to become an administrator, my job would be to not have a teacher like that second grade teacher in front of kids and what that second grade teacher did to me. And that is what continues to fuel my inspiration on why I do what I do, to make sure that people aren't in positions to harm children who are helpless.
Amen.
Amen to that.
I wanted to go back to a comment as I'm throwing them up. Audience, continue to throw your comments up and questions if you want to. To God be the glory. What the enemy meant for bad will turn to good. Thank you, Cheryl, on that. And one of your brethren, Carl Snowden, Brother Snowden chimes in and says, Dr. Bedell is such a great superintendent. We are fortunate to have him as our leader. The Caucus of African American Leaders supports him unconditionally. And you don't have to thank us, Carl, but definitely shout out to you for acknowledging the brother. You know, iron sharpens iron.
Wow, I bow down to that man. That man is a legendary influencer in this community, and a brilliant man on top of that. Brilliant.
Absolutely.
No doubt.
Kenny?
Dr. Bedell, first of all, thank you for your time. Before I get into my question, one of our fans, Juanita Cage Lewis, first of all, she welcomes you. She said to ask you, where's her brisket?
Okay. Okay, so see what had happened was See, listen, we ended up catering this 4th of July. We had a whole bunch of people coming over here, so I was not about to do a 12 to 14 hour brisket. I'm going to take care of her at some point here. I just don't know when, but I'm going to take care of her.
Just want you to know she's a queen on the show, so
absolutely.
That's
why I brought that up.
You come knocking on the door for you. She said you would take care of her.
She asked that question. We have been on the air like 5 minutes.
Okay, so Mr. Knight, you're going to have to remind me at some point. It's just like my carrot cake. I may make it once every 2 years. I make a carrot cake from scratch.
I got you.
And so I gotta find some time to do it.
I will definitely remind you. Believe me, I will definitely remind you, brother. I won't let her get you. All right. Well, go ahead, Kenny.
Lean into that carrot cake.
That is awesome.
So ring the alarm when that jumps off.
Awesome.
Hey, that carrot cake for real. I used to sell it. I hustle, y'all. If I had to work 4 jobs, I did what I had to do to make ends meet. But I used to sell carrot cakes and make a killing off of them.
Wow.
You might have to circle back.
Might have to put in a Christmas order or a Thanksgiving order.
Order for that one.
Go ahead, Kenny. You up,
Absolutely,
man?
Absolutely. But what a testimony, Dr. Bedell. Already, I've known you for a little over 30 minutes, and you are very inspirational. For real. What is your long-term vision for the county school district, and what role do you yourself personally play in championing this mission every day?
Yeah, I mean, my long-term vision is a very simple one. I expect Anne Arundel County to be the best school district in the United States. And what I feel that we have out here when I got here was, and no disrespect to anybody, like I don't ever talk bad about another superintendent because I could be that superintendent that somebody's following. But what I will say is, I think when we've been in our seats a long time, sometimes things can become a little stagnant. And what my people told me was they felt like the district was it. So he left me a really good school district. Let me just be very clear with you all, and I give Arlotto credit for that. But I felt like there was a lot more that could be done. Even people who work here said they felt like it was a turn the light off, turn the light on school district. And what we said was, it's not okay just to be good. Yes, you're right. Anne Arundel County is a good school district. We're not interested in being good. We want to be great. And we want to be a top 5 district in everything that we do. And honestly, these first 2 years have been phenomenal. I think when all of the data comes in for this school year, I don't even know what to say at this point. Everything I'm looking at right now is showing that this might be the strongest year out of the 3 that I've been here early on. And that tells me that we're headed in the right direction and that people are believing that we can be one of the great school districts in the United States for every single kid, regardless of who they are and how they show up. And we have the data to support it. And press releases will be coming out soon about our test scores and all of that stuff. It'll be coming soon.
Awesome,
Wow.
man. That's
so
great
what?
to
So
hear.
what are some of the other things beyond test scores? That
Oh
you
yeah,
look
so
at?
for me, it's just about the experience. You know, we made a decision to bring middle school sports back to this district for the first time since
Wow.
since
Okay.
88,
Nice,
89.
nice.
Right.
Um,
Glad to
huge,
hear that,
we're
man.
we're enhancing. You know, the school district didn't have no dual language immersion programs. We about to start our second one. We started one the second year I was here at Tyler Heights, and Maryland City's about to be the second one. You know, where it really shows that we're trying to diversify the portfolio that we are able to offer to our under our schools. And then for me, it's about the extracurricular aspect of it, robotics, wanting STEM and STEAM to be a focus all the way through because that's a huge demand.
Oh, yeah.
So there's and then I want to redesign middle school. I think we do a terrible job across the United States in most school districts with middle schoolers. We take care of elementary, we take care of high schoolers, middle schoolers often get neglected. So we have a massive task force right now focusing on the middle school experience and how do we bring joy to that middle school level, and it just has to look different and it has to feel different. So that's a big initiative that we're working on right now.
Awesome.
Amen.
Well,
Amen.
Well, Dr. Bedell, as we move forward, how does the district ensure that schools have this is something that's very important to this district and the schools as a whole, but how does the district ensuring that schools have equal access to funding, resources, experienced teachers? And what steps are you taking to close the gaps for students with different backgrounds, racial, economic, and so forth, and those with special learning needs?
Well, the first thing I did when I came here was I made a decision even before Blueprint required us to do it, that we would create a tier funding model. And we took a look at multiple variables, free and reduced lunch. We looked at mobility in schools. We looked at teacher experience. We looked at test scores. We looked at attendance rates, graduate rates, all of those things. And then we were able to tier our schools. And by tiering our schools, it then allowed for me to fund those schools in a way where we could help create a level playing field. And so what I tell people is, if you lift the bottom, the whole county gets lifted. And it's not about stifling the top. I remember being in a meeting with some parents who were telling me that, you know, equity is that you're going to take away from my kid to help those kids. And I said, nah, I said equity is to also make sure that your kid being pushed. You come in my office, you got your Louis Vuitton purse, and your kid not even being pushed. I said, how is it that we got a district like this and we can count on one finger how many National Merit Scholars we got? That's unacceptable. That means your kid is not being challenged just as much as the kids who are showing up in poverty aren't being challenged. So what I try to do is disarm that agenda that people think that by trying to do an equitable funding model to level the playing field, that it's going to harm their children. And it hasn't. Our data has been going up in the aggregate for everybody, but what you will see is we are closing gaps. Our data is showing that our children that are special ed, the children that are ELL, the children in poverty, they are moving because they have a lot more of a runway to move. So if we're giving you these additional resources, I do expect a return on investment in those schools.
Absolutely. But thank you. Go ahead, Arden.
Well, how does the county promote diversity in schools and in faculty to reflect the community it serves? And what's your strategy in reducing strategy in recruiting high quality instructors?
All right, so this is actually one of the metrics that's on my eval, which is recruiting and retaining teachers. Our retention numbers have been close to 94-95% over the last 2 years. And
great.
This year, when I got here, we had roughly 300 teacher vacancies. And we had 72 bus driver vacancies. We opened up the school year last year, 0 bus driver vacancies and only 69 teacher vacancies out of 5,800 teachers. And as of 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, our vacancy rate was 100 less than it was last year at this time. And so I believe that I have a responsibility to let people know that diversity matters in this school district. People of color can have opportunities to be in these executive level positions. My cabinet is 6 men, 6 women. I have 5 African American on my cabinet, and I have it's 11 members on my cabinet, but I have 5 African Americans on my cabinet. And I was getting pushback from people on social media that I'm hiring too many black people in the district. Like, I had to address that. I was being accused of also that I was nothing but a DEI hire. So I had to address that. I had to address those things to help people understand.
Without question.
Yeah, like let me help y'all understand. Like, I've been on PBS NewsHour. I've spoken on C-SPAN too. I've spoken on the Today Show. I've spoken at USC, Harvard, Howard. I did all of that before I ever came to Anne Arundel County. Does that sound like a DEI hire?
You know what? Here's the funny thing about it is, yes, it does, because usually the DEI hires have to be more. They're not getting a job because they're less than. They have to be more than to get the job. So, and that's the part that people don't talk about that, you know, with that situation. They got the job because it was pretty much what your mother said. You better be twice as good, boy. If you're going in there, you better be twice as good, at least. Yeah. So when you start talking about that, that's why people, you find a lot of whites and others going to HBCUs, because you're going to a school, the graduation rate is higher, they're more plugged in, and you're not just a number. You know, so it's just that's funny how when people say that like it's negative, but it's definitely positive, because you don't get the job if you just whatever.
And I think what I said to people was I was the best candidate that came in front of that board. I just happened to be black. Let's make no mistakes about it. Yes. Like, my body of work, I'll put it up against anybody in this country, what I've done in my 9 years as a superintendent. But so you have to address those things, right? Now we haven't seen no social media posts since we talked about it.
It kind of shot that down, man. All right, Kenny, go ahead.
They say you got to drop the mic.
Wow. Yes, sir.
Sometimes you just have to, man. It's sad that people think that way, but this the world we in.
It's sad you got to prove something that don't need to be proven.
Right.
But Doctor, before I get to my question, once again, I seen a question from one of our viewers. Lenny, I don't know if you can find it. I think it was Faye Gaskins.
Yes,
and she
I like
asked,
that.
You saw that too, Art? Yeah, she asked, here it is, how would the cuts made by the Trump administration impact your ability to implement your initiatives?
Yeah, I think at this point, it's kind of a wait and see what happens. I mean, these cuts right now could impact the school district to the tune of $4.2 million. And the good news is we do have a fund balance in Anne Arundel County. So I will be able to make sure that nothing gets hurt. If I have to go to the board and say, hey, we need to address some of the losses that we're having, I think Anne Arundel County will be fine. The issue will be that I would then have to make sure that we're putting additional requests in our budget to the county executive and the county council for the upcoming school year, but we won't miss a beat. We've been very fortunate to have had a great relationship with the county executive. A lot of school districts have had to lay off people. Everybody in our district is getting pretty much the 5% pay raise if they're step eligible also. And a lot of school districts are having to freeze pay raises this year, laying people off, giving 1 or 2%. In my 3 years of being here, we would have given a total of 18% in pay raises across the board. So that's the part of the reason, and we have that support from the county executive. So that is making a huge difference.
That helps. But we will be okay in Anne Arundel. Yes.
Absolutely. Tell us about your school district's approach to ensuring, this is something that's very prevalent today that we read about and see about on the news and social media all the time. Student safety, the mental health of students, their emotional well-being, and prepping them for success from middle school, that transition from middle school to high school and beyond?
All right. So as you all know, when a new superintendent comes in, they pretty much have the first 100 days to assess the state of a school district. And part of my entry plan, I look at everything. I turn over every stone. And by the time I put my post-entry plan out, I already have an idea of how I figure we need to reorg this organization. So one of the things I did in the reorg is I created a new chief position, a chief over student and systemic supports. This position is by design only here to support culture and climate in our schools and in our offices, safety and security, and in the social and emotional well-being of not only the students, but adults in our organization. So I have a chief that handles all of this. And then what we did was we had a teacher from Annapolis High School, Mary Kay. She ended up winning Maryland Teacher of the Year the first year I was here. Well, we ended in the work that she does is around emotional and mental well-being for children and adults. We hired her and brought her into central office to lead those efforts on helping us with mental health, emotional well-being for students, but also for the adults. So we are building out a system in our school district that's going to help control for those variables so that they don't become an impediment to our kids achieving their full academic potential.
That's awesome.
And I think Juanita Cage Lewis echoed that as well, saying that speaking about the task force for students with mental health and counselors, psychologists, and social workers, which is awesome. Kenny, I wanted to piggyback off the last part of that question that you asked, as far as because Dr. Bedell, I played ball too, and one of the things that really helped me as I was a high school senior, I was on a basketball team that was loaded with talent. Even though I was a starter on that squad, I wasn't the star. And I often wonder about what am I going to do when I get out of high school? What choices do I have? I was fortunate enough to get recruited by a smaller school on a full scholarship ride. So I wanted to piggyback off the last part of this question about high school and beyond. What things do you have, not just for athletes, but those that are academically astute and those with other talents and skills? How are you helping those to go take the next step?
Yeah, this is a great question. So I had a chance to read the education mandate in Project 2025, and I required every single one of my cabinet members to read that chapter. And in that chapter, what I found out is that there is almost this agenda to ultimately begin to track kids again, and almost wean out folks from even having opportunities to go to college to get these executive level type positions. So what I said was to my team, we're going to include in our budget requests funding so that every single 9th, 10th, and 11th grader will take the pre-SAT. So this Anne Arundel County was probably the only district in the state that required every single 9th grader to sit and take that pre-SAT assessment this year. And then we will also pay for every single one of our juniors to take the actual SAT in the spring. And what I can tell you is I've eliminated the access points because every single kid can take it as long as they come to school. We gonna pay for it. And the data is telling me a story, and it's an unbelievable story about the intelligence that we have with our kids in this school district. The same thing, I want to add one more thing on that college going piece. We made a decision when I got here, and it really was because of Blueprint, but we made a decision we were going to go a little bit above Blueprint, that we would pay for every kid to go into dual credit courses at the community college, but also we will pay for all of our kids to take the AP exam and the IB exam. Wait till I share with you all, when it's official for me to put it out, what our AP data is looking like now. And guess who the big increases are? Multiracial, African American, and ELL students. And our scores have gone up every single year, not down, but we've given much more access to kids because we got rid of the gatekeeper model on who gets access to those classes and who don't.
Yes, sir.
Love it.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I mean, so much
Y'all
good
wait till
information.
y'all wait till this data come out. It's gonna blow your mind.
Yeah.
Well,
we just tackled a little bit of this earlier, but I just wanted to revisit it a little bit more. You know, we just talked about the recent budget that are coming from the federal level, and will there be adjustments that have to be made to the curriculum or things of that nature at this point, or do you think that surplus will handle all of that? Are you concerned at all about any aspect of the county being hurt?
Yeah, I'm absolutely concerned, but
yeah.
I think here's the reality of it. None of this will have to suffer as long as we are able to articulate to the county council and the county executive our need and what it's going to take to support those deficits that may be created at the federal level. But there's another piece to this too, and I think we have to do a better job of this. We have not really tapped into philanthropy here like I'm accustomed to. And I also know that it may not be one of the larger philanthropy markets. When I was in Kansas City, we had Hallmark Cars, the Hall Foundation. We had H&R Block, the Block Foundation. We had the Kaufman Foundation. We had George K. Baum, Stover's Chocolate. We don't have a lot of that out here, but I did hire a new executive director over our Ed Foundation that is beginning to tap into the business sector so we can leverage some of those resources to help offset some of the stuff happening at the federal level.
Oh yeah, because there are so many large businesses in this area that is an untapped resource for the school system. You're absolutely right. So maybe we can tap into some of that and offset some of those expenses.
It's available. We just have to go after it. I really do.
Correct.
And that's just something we weren't doing in Anne Arundel. So that is something we're doing now.
Okay, great. All right, Arden.
How is the county leveraging the technology to improve teaching and learning?
Yeah, I mean, for us, it's important. We have to do it. I even put in our budget that I want to get rid of Chromebooks at the high school level. I think our kids need to have actual PCs.
Real computer, yes.
So we're going to be doing that where we will have 2 grade levels this year. We got funded for 2 out of the 4. And we will begin to do that conversion and push those Chromebooks down to middle school level and maybe even elementary. But also, we got a retreat coming up. And in this retreat, we're going to unpack AI. We can't be out here running away. You can't run from it. So we need to figure out what are going to be the guardrails. How do we help our kids to really be creative and come with original thought in their work, but then are able to utilize some of these tools to kind of help refine their work and take it to another level. But we got to put guardrails in place. And the answer isn't, no, we're not going to be doing AI. AI is not going anywhere, and you'll get left behind as a school system if you don't. So we're going to work to embrace it, and we're training people on it as we speak. I just went to the Human Resources retreat, and they were doing AI training when I went there to speak. So the district is getting to that point where we're trying to embrace it.
Well, I would say, with the AI, and also, I'm a big crypto fan also, but there's a ton of opportunity into writing that code for crypto and also writing the code for AI. But that code aspect of things has to really be pushed. We cannot be behind the 8 ball on those notes because, actually I have a student that he made a little modification to Bitcoin and he will never have to work again, ever. Wow. But the bottom line is so many opportunities, especially for creative minds. And we have some really, really creative minds in and around Anne Arundel County. And it just touches on a lot of opportunity there. And maybe even slide that into part of the the VOTEC.
So let me tell you, Arden. let me tell you what we're doing. This year, we have what is called Triple E. And it's in the elementary level. We're actually going to convert every single Triple E into STEAM. So it's going to be STEM with the arts at every single school, because we want our kids to get exposure to that rigor of science and math and technology and all of that. And listen, you guys also don't know this, but when I became a high school principal, I was a high school principal in a tough neighborhood, but I had a magnet program, and my magnet program was the High School for Engineering Professions. So I was an engineering high school principal who, our school sent more kids to MIT than any other school than all of the high schools combined in HISD. We took cafeteria scraps back in 2009 in a partnership with Texas A&M University and turned it into fuel. We built a rocket that broke the sound barrier and went and competed in Alexandria, Virginia, in the high rocketry contest. So I'm all about STEM, engineering, and coding and all of that, and that's why we're gonna really extend out Triple E at elementary with that focus.
We have a question. We have a question from one of the viewers. Well, not one. I talk like she's just some regular person. This is my sister. I shouldn't say one of the viewers. This is my sister D. Goodwin. So she's more than a regular viewer. Although we love all our viewers. D. Goodwin asked the question: do you feel African American students are more negatively affected than non-black students? Do they have more behavior issues? Are blacks suspended at a larger rate? Could you speak to that in totality and shine some light on that for all of us, please?
Yeah, I mean, I do agree. I do believe that. I think there is, in many cases, a deficit mindset on how we show up. I don't think that people generally have the patience to really understand what we're coming into school with or how we even operate, right? And that was the difference between my second grade teacher versus what my 10th grade homeroom teacher did, right? Who sat me down and said, let me try to help understand what you're going through, right? Or find somebody to talk to, versus the alternative, you got a kid crying out for help, because we also know the realities of it, man. We already show up with a lot of social and emotional distress at things that are beyond our control. And here's the thing, I try to help people understand, at least we're coming to school on a daily basis to try to get out of it. So the least we can do is make sure that our educators are trained to do right by these kids. And now listen, y'all, I'm gonna say something to you that I've shared at a number of national conferences. And this might tick some of y'all off. But I was guilty of perpetuating that mindset that your sister just asked. I was an assistant principal. I was making like $54,000 a year. I'm in a different level of status now. I'm middle class. So I'm at a high school and I'm looking at this boy and I'm like, why are you sagging? And I keep telling him, pull up your pants, pull up your pants. So one day I almost had a road rage incident where somebody cut me off. I came to school already hot. Guess who I see? I see him and I said, hey man, I told you to pull up your pants. He looked at me and kept walking. I said, come with me, man. I'm about to suspend you. I'm about to suspend you for defiance. So I went to suspend this kid. He's 11th grader. He put his hand on my shoulder and said, Mr. Bedell, you don't even know me. You about to suspend me. And he had a tear coming down his face. He said, I come to school every day. I mind my business. You ride me every day. I don't get in trouble. And maybe if you took time to get to know me, you would know that you about to kick me out into these streets. And because I don't have any place to live. Man, it floored me. I said, man, I said, here, I sagged back in the 90s. Here I am. I don't lost full perspective. And I'm doing what these other people do to these kids. Man, it changed my life. It changed my life. That was in 2007. 2006, it changed my life.
Wow. Dr. Bedell,
Kenny, you up?
I'm a teacher to a student and a student to a teacher. And the roles can change at any point in time. But that's what you just did. I mean, he gave you a lesson, a master lesson on how to do the job. And then you came from that background. So as soon as you started connecting back to how your walk, I was homeless. I was, and the stuff that the children are dealing with nowadays is like incredible. You could do a show on what children are coming to school with on their shoulders.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
And just like you said, still showing up every day. So it's powerful, man. Where you are in your journey as an educator.
But I think Arden, it's okay, man, to be vulnerable and to tell people some of the ugly, right? People think we walk on water when you get in these positions, but there was a lot of mistakes made, man. I didn't get burned by it. But a lot of people don't recover from stuff like that, man.
That's true.
Kenny?
That's deep. That is deep, Doc, very deep. My question is, how does the Anne Arundel County public school system involve parents and the community in things as curriculum changes? And how do you respond? Because there's always going to be doubters, there's always going to be criticism, there's always going to be naysayers. How do you respond to them with such issues? Let's start off with like redistricting.
Yeah, I mean, like redistricting, I just spoke to the Baltimore Banner about redistricting the other day. And what I shared with them was, it's two ways you can look at this situation. We could be redistricting because we have to close schools. And that's the worst case scenario because of a decline in enrollment in which most school districts, the decline in enrollment was 2.5% in public schools last year nationally. We are not closing because of that. We are one of the fastest growing school districts. We're number one, we're one of the fastest growing school districts in the country, but we are in the DMV, the number one most desired school district for people to want to put their kids in our system. So we went up by 700 students last year. And so I'm having to redistrict because I gotta balance the schools. And what I would say to people is, like, I get people frustration. You move into a certain community because you've done your research on that particular school. And and I got people complaining because they going from one 5-star school to another 5-star school, but it's not the school that they moved in the community in. So I get it. But at the end of the day, I have to balance the system so we can make sure that the student-teacher ratio is at a level where all of our kids can be properly educated and that we don't have safety hazards because kids can't move in a building because they're packed like sardines. And so, it's no way around it, man. But I mean, I would rather be having to redistrict because of our situation now than having to do it because we had to close schools.
Awesome.
Wow.
Well, look, Dr. Bedell, we want to make this pivot now, and we do this with every guest. And look, you hit us with the heavy, and everybody, you got the wows, you got the powerfuls, you got all the great comments, and I think you definitely blowing people away, giving a different perspective that you probably are limited to do in your professional capacity. So I'm glad we are able to give you the platform to do so. But we wanted to pivot to have fun. We call this the lightning round. We ask all our guests that come on some fun questions. And we're going to start off with Brother Kenny, who's a big sports advocate. And y'all two will probably hit it off because both of y'all play ball out here. Anyway, go ahead, Kenny. What's your question?
First of all, I need to know your favorite NFL and your favorite NBA team. Now, I know you're in Maryland, but you're
I was going to tell you. I mean, I'm a Buffalo Bill fan. Let's be very clear. And I'm a New York Knicks fan. I'm from upstate New York.
Okay.
And then the Chiefs are number 2 because of the relationship we had with them my 6 years I was there.
6 years you were there, yeah.
So hold on, Dr. Bedell. I can't let this go. I'm
sorry.
You're
gonna be moving over to the Baltimore side of things.
Hold up. Now, how long you been? You've been in the school system 3 years now, right?
But guess what?
What's that?
I haven't met the owner at the Ravens. The Ravens haven't done anything for Anne Arundel County. Okay, that's the difference. That's the difference between Kansas City. Kansas City was doing all kinds of stuff for my school district.
Oh, man. Well,
you're gonna have to work on that.
Maybe we can get the ownership of the Commanders or the Ravens to
do
hop
something.
on board as far as that funding we were talking about. Remember we were talking about
Well,
outside
look, the owner graduated from Savannah Park, and I believe still lives in Anne Arundel County.
Anne Arundel County.
Okay.
Yeah, so we got to
ain't
see
even
what we
heard
can do
from
about that, man. Let's see what we can do about that. So
you
go ahead,
better go
Kenny.
Doctor,
So-
what other sports do you like? I'm a baseball fan, especially this time of year, no basketball or anything. And I'm a New York Yankees fan. I'm an original
I'm a New York Yankees fan
Maryland
too. I
born
got my
and
Judge.
raised. You're a Yankees fan too?
I got my Judge jersey upstairs, the authentic one. I got it.
I heard that.
My bad. I've been a Yankees fan since I was a kid, and I'm born and raised in Annapolis, Maryland. But I've been a Yankees fan since I was a kid. And one last question: do you play cards? Do you play spades?
I play spades. Hold on. Let me show y'all something. Since we doing this, hold on. Let me show y'all something.
Don't start
I don't
now.
know if
We
y'all
on
can
the
see
move now.
this. Do y'all see that?
Oh, go ahead, man.
Bring it to the camera a little bit.
There you
Bring
go.
it over. There you go. Okay.
Oh, man, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
That's a spades champion,
Oh,
man.
go ahead, man.
I heard that. Hey, look. Documentation always beats conversation.
I was gonna ask you, are you the type of spades player that get their rounds or get their books, or the type of same partner that get somebody set? Cause we don't want them type of partners across the table from us, you know.
Hey man, listen here, man. I play for keeps, okay?
That's it.
Hey, that and bones. If y'all want to do dominoes, I do that. And look, I got. Look. I even got them right here, man. And listen. And I got a nice little poker table where we
Oh
can play.
man, he's showing us the props,
Oh,
man.
you get it in. Hey, well, look, I got some dope cards that we can work out.
Oh man.
Like history.
That's awesome,
Oh, I
Doc.
like those. I like
Yes,
those.
sir. Yes, indeed.
That is awesome.
You sound like you putting out a challenge, Ard. You putting out a challenge.
I got something to play on. You know what I mean? That brother champion over there. So
Hey, Arden, but I will tell you this. I got handled by Andre Dillard and one of my frat brothers. We had a couple of frat brothers together, and I ain't gonna lie, man, I just couldn't get a hand. Every hand just two spades. Man, I couldn't get a hand, and I mean we got ran out. Okay.
was he setting? He must have been dealing from the bottom of the deck.
I told him, I said, man,
you only got two spades every hand. Come on, man.
It was terrible, man. It was terrible.
Emma Thomas says, what about Biz Wiz?
Oh, you.
Oh yeah, I play Bid Whist too. I haven't played in a long time, but I grew up playing that, and absolutely, I used to play that too. And it would take me maybe one or two hands to remember, because I think you bid high or low based on the. And if you got a bunch of same suits in your hand, that's kind of how. And then you get that kitty. Yeah, come on, man.
Hey,
All right, now you up now.
Before you have somebody go grab your cards and come over to the house, music. Are you a music lover? If so, what's your favorite? You know, what's on your playlist? Let me say, what you rocking?
My playlist is ridiculous. I have I'm trying to get this camera. I have a playlist. Do you see that I have a playlist for Antigua? Do you see this?
Yeah. Scroll.
I have clean rap, good vibes, gospel, inspirational jazz.
Jill Scott.
Jill Scott.
Jilly from Philly.
Wait.
Love song.
Old school.
Oh yeah.
Old school rap. Hold on.
R&B.
Reggae.
Got the roots rock.
Throwback jam. Some throwback jam.
Smooth R&B.
Unedited R&B.
Oh
you
man.
over there.
Love songs.
You DJ every third Saturday on. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, man. I told my wife I wanted to get a turntable. She was like, "Man, what's going on? What is happening with your midlife crisis?" I was like, "Yeah, I just, I like to entertain, man, and I really do. I love music.
Yeah.
I love music."
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with
Wow,
that.
that is awesome.
That's
All right, Kenny, I think you. Who's that? Quavy, you got the last one, Q.
He was on.
So Dr. Bedell, obviously you play ball and you still play ball and everything. So what's your go-to exercise at this? What's your go-to exercise routine? Because you're in great shape. You keep yourself in great physical shape. What is your go-to exercise, first of all?
Basketball, man. I still play. Look, don't let me get in the gym. Don't let me get in the gym with people 45 and up. I'm a problem. Now you get me in there with folks, you get me in there with folks 30, some of these 30-year-olds, it might be rough, but hey, I'm 51. I can still bump with the youngsters, but they only gonna get 3 games out of me. Now we get 45 and up. Hey, I can go. We can bump.
They gonna get the business. That's what it is.
So I told you we were a show that was based on health. So we trying to watch what we consume and things of that nature. It's important to us what we consume. So tell me some of your favorite foods and some of the things that you definitely stay away from no matter what. Just share that with us if you would.
I mean, I'm working on trying to do a better job of not consuming too much sugar. I think that's something that may run in my family. And there's no country western on I ain't really got into country like that yet. Not on my playlist.
How about boots on the ground? Boots on the ground, count.
Real talk.
I don't have it on my playlist either.
Hey, but I do have a lot of country Italian. I got all my cowboy western stuff. I can go with you on a western day now. I will.
Oh yeah, I remember you wearing something to work one day. We had a little
exactly. But back on the food thing, I think I'm probably gonna have to get in touch with a dietitian so that I can start to eat better. I know I'm not eating the best right now, but I try to do a lot of salad. I do a lot of like salmon and some sea bass. I'll smoke some of that kind of stuff. But I've been staying away from red meat for the most part. I have not really been on that. And I will do the brisket every now and again, but I don't know, y'all. It's a struggle for me when it comes to the dietary stuff because I just don't have a lot of discipline on it. I'm just telling you, and I feel like I'm always on the run. So I find myself not eating the best because I'm always on the run.
That's
done any interviews?
Well, look, we gotta push to the end, and I hate to ruin a good party, but all good things must come to an end. People in the audience, you can't hold a man all night. He's an important man, got things to do besides messing around with the night, bro. So anyway, we want to thank you for coming on. And audience, look, we want y'all to do us a favor. Everybody that's watching under the sound of the voice, thank Dr. Bedell right now in the chat, so we can throw him up on the screen so he can see how much he is loved. Drop a 1 in the chat group, or just simply say thank you. And while they are doing that, around the horn real fast, closing thoughts, cues, or closing thank yous from the hostess.
Yes. Well, Dr. Bedell, first of all, once again, we just continue to say thank you for being so gracious with your time and joining us tonight. And we hope that you found this time useful to you as well, because I know it had to be somewhat therapeutic for you as well to share your story.
It was definitely therapeutic. I was going to say that. This was therapeutic, man.
Yes. And we hope to have you join us again sometime in the future, man. We want the folks to know you're going on vacation. We want you to enjoy vacation, brother. Well deserved.
Beautiful time. Beautiful time.
Hey, I don't even go until Saturday, but I already was fully packed on Sunday.
Wow. That's a brother that's
so you ready to roll.
Did wifey push you? Did wifey push you to get start getting stuff ready? Did she push you a little bit?
No, she's still packing. I'm packed. I'm done.
That's it. We got to get ready if you already ready.
But once again, we thank you, man. Arden, over to you. Closing thoughts.
No, I just want to definitely echo the appreciation of your time. But more importantly, definitely appreciate your service. Indeed.
Yes.
Because, a teacher really impacts thousands upon thousands of people. My grandmother was an educator. My ex-wife was an educator. My lady now is an educator. And so I have the utmost respect for your industry, because guess what? Ain't no great person out here that didn't have a daggone teacher. None.
Facts.
None. So I salute you. Definitely appreciate you. Looking forward to seeing you. A couple of cats on the screen got a little jumper too, so we might have come check you out. You know what I mean? And run a couple of games. Love to do that.
I can still bang a little bit, too. I can still bang lay on a
Peace
little
and
bit.
love.
Ken,
God bless
on
you and your
buddy.
family.
Absolutely.
No question.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Dr. Bedell, thank you. I just met you a little over an hour ago. Again, you're very inspirational. Your testimony was outstanding. I'm sure it touched a lot of people within our studio audience. Again, thank you for your time. And are you a lefty? Or am I looking at the screen wrong?
I am.
Yeah. I am
listen,
too.
Can I tell y'all this quick story? I had to have rotator surgery as soon as I started here because I was playing with kids in Kansas City, and the kids said, Dr. Bedell, we never gonna get to play with you again. Can you play one more game? And I ran out there and played and tore my rotator cuff running into one of them.
Oh.
Yep.
Wow.
But it's back though. But it's back.
Okay, jump
I
us
thought
back.
you got a
Jump
right
us back.
hand after that. You know what I'm saying? Because I know I hurt my wrist one time, so I started shooting with my left, and it just started being butter.
Hey, well, look, I want to thank you as well as the others. I went to school. Guess what I went to school to become, Dr. Bedell?
What? A teacher?
I have a teaching degree.
What?
Yes, and I wound up in the business world somehow and never got out of the business world. So you know what I did? I used my degree every day because I was a leader of people. I always was in a position of leadership and authority, and I used that to educate instead of using the same old script that these companies would give me to train people. I would try to connect with them in a different way because I know learning, you know, when I through school, I learned that learning is a hands-on job. It's not just dissemination of information from A to B. You have to mix in everything else and connect there, because once that connectivity comes in, that's when true learning happens, and that's when it stays with somebody. So I use my degree in that way, but I just want to say thank you. I always said, like, when I retire, I might want to come to the school system and just kind of help out. You know what I mean? Just to get some joy.
All right.
You know what I mean? So
well, we're here. We welcome you.
Absolutely. So we want to give you the floor for the last words. Anything you want to say to the audience before we leave off?
Yeah, just man, I really appreciate it, and I know for people who are here in the audience, you know, we want to have people become partners with our school district, help us support these kids, let all of our kids know that they are brilliant and they can be as great as they want to be, and the community is going to wrap their arms around them. And anything that people can do, whether it's supporting our Ed Foundation or volunteering to mentor or volunteering to just be present to show up to our schools, we welcome all of that.
Well, what's the best way for them to, sorry, I'm remiss for not even saying this earlier. What is the best way for them to help you out? Or to where do they go to volunteer?
Yeah, I mean, all of that can go right through Andre Dillard's shop. Andre Dillard, Dillard at aacps.org. And a lot of that is all in that division under our equity department.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
If they go on the site, they can go on the website.
Yeah, and we'll train people. We train everybody. We do all of that. We pay for background checks, and we will train people.
When Dr. Bedell here, we'd like to get Andre on one night as well. We're probably going to try to have him on as a guest one night in the very near future, as well as just having you come back sometime in the near future as well.
Yeah, we'll come back and break down some actual data.
Okay, that sounds good.
That'd be great.
You know,
That'd be really good.
When you get that data, give Q a call. We can schedule that in. And any other thing that you may want to announce and get out to the community, please put us down as one of the spots to do that.
Okay, sounds like a plan.
All right, y'all. Good night. We're gonna leave y'all as we began, just with our new hot theme song. Y'all check it out.
Y'all, before we even get into it, this ain't just a podcast. This us talking to the block, to the moms, to the homies lost, to the ones fighting demons in silence, to the kings and queens that forgot their crown. We four brothers coming straight from mud, hitting the web not for clout but for purse bills. Yeah. Rhythm Night Brothers, speaking truth to the mic, shining through the struggle, bringing dark to the light. Block to your soul, let the message ignite. Podcast for the people, every word take flight. Gritty like the grind, help first we strive. Social heat in the streets, trying to keep hope alive. 4 mics, 1 mission, make the people revive. It's the nighttime, tune in, feel the vibe. We 4 deep like corners on the block. Mics hot in the lab, cooking truth non-stop. No gimmicks, this ain't clickbait chatter. This heartbeat, struggling soul, blacker than batter. Got fam trying to heal, broke bills on the table. Talk health, mental wealth, if we able, we enable. From the hood to the web, we built this escape. Tired of seeing kings trapped in a lowercase fake. Click clack on the keys, we ain't just pie, we preach it. Street slang, health hacks, real talk preaching. See the system rigged, trying to cage our minds, but we cracking the code like it's Columbine. I'm the brother with the blueprint, knowledge in my stash. Turn trauma to armor, pain into cash. 1 mic, 4 voices, no filters, no mask. We ain't just streaming, we building that path. Freedom Night Brothers, speaking truth to the mic, shining through the struggle, bringing dark to the light. Block to your soul, let the message ignite. Podcast for the people, every word take flight. Gritty like the grind, help first we strive. Social heat in the streets, trying to keep hope alive. 4 mics, 1 mission, make the people revive. It's the nighttime, tune in, feel the vibe.